All right, we're going to get started in just a moment or so, but before we do, have all defense attorneys have the opportunity to speak with their client?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. Ms. Abden?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, it's 2:00, so we'll go ahead and get started. This is the state expedited accusations calendar in the state court of Fulton County, Georgia. I am Judge Melanie Williams, and today is September the 20th of 2023. All defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney at this proceeding today. This particular proceeding is being broadcast over the internet as a live stream. It is also being recorded. That means any member of the public can log on and watch this particular proceeding. When I ask if you understand your rights, that is what I am referring to. Ms. Bridgewater, what is my reset date?
Yes, Your Honor, it's October the 3rd.
All right. Those who receive a signature bond will be reset further notice. Those who receive a surety or cash bond today will be reset to state all purpose calendar on October the 3rd, whereby your case can be revisited, including the bond amount and any other special conditions which may have been previously attached. All right. Who do we have first at courtroom 2?
Good
Your
afternoon,
Honor.
Judge Williams. Oh, go ahead, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor, I apologize. And yet I just realized that I do have a one Portuguese interpreter case. So I am waiting for interpreter to show up. So
Which position is that?
number one, Your Honor, Lydia Batista.
Okay, so we're waiting on a Portuguese interpreter, and you need to interview her as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so if we could also move that part, that particular defendant as soon as possible, I would greatly appreciate that. All right, I'm sorry, courtroom 2, who is before me?
Good afternoon, Judge Williams. This is going to be
Afternoon.
position number 2, Ms. Emlyn, and she does have a private attorney sitting right next to her.
All right. Good afternoon. Will you enter your appearance, counsel?
I haven't, will enter it today.
All right, and your name?
Malcolm Connor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Connor. Please hold. All right, I'm sorry, I see, are you the interpreter, ma'am? Ms. Steele?
No, Your Honor. Good afternoon. I am here representing DeForest Hollins.
Okay, please hold. Thank you. All right, Mr. Howard, can I have the history for position 2, please? I'm sorry, let me apprise her of her rights. Your case is 23 CR 0056366F. In this case, you're charged with battery in a transit station or vehicle and obstruction. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Howard?
Second arrest, last was 2019 out of Dade County, Florida for battery.
All right, thank you. Mr. Thomas, please proceed.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Your Honor, the facts of this case are such that the victim reported that to the MARTA police that several unknown individuals surrounded him and repeatedly kicked and punched him while he laid on the ground at the 5 Points MARTA station located at 50 Alabama Street, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, here in Fulton County, Georgia, 30303. The incident was caught on CCTV and captured the incident where it also showed that the victim was also stepped on as well as he lay on the ground. The subject was identified as an employee of Binky's Eatery. The officers responded to Binky's Eatery where the defendant and another female ran inside and attempted to lock the door and ran out the back. That's the indicia for charge 2. The victim in this case is Mr. Maxie Adams. Your Honor, the state's going to ask for a $3,000 surety bond as well because she's a multi-state offender, as well as a no contact and an anger management course. Nothing further from the state, Your Honor. And at this time, if possible, we can sound for the victim, who is Maxie, M-A-X-I-E, Adams, A-D-A-M-S.
All right, is Mr. Adams present and wishes to make a statement? Is there a Mr. Adams on the line? All right, hearing and seeing none, Mr. Collins, please proceed.
Yes, Ms. Williams is her correct name. Emlyn is her maiden name, but she's 28 years old. She's a graduate of Florida State University where she studied mass communications. She has 2 children. She's currently pregnant with her 3rd. She's married to Bryant Williams. She resides at the address of 928 Bentley Drive, Fairmont, Georgia, this is a newly purchased house. She's actually the owner of Bentley's Restaurant, which is located on 20 Broad Street. She's also an owner of Ivy Wealth Academy, which is a financial literacy academy, where she teaches people how to become a successful business owner and also teaches finance. She doesn't pose a threat to the community. She's a pillar of the community. Actually, she's a contributor of the community and a taxpaying citizen. She has no major infractions as far as her criminal history. This constitutes her first arrest in Georgia. She has never engaged in any unlawful conduct besides the one that the state mentioned in Florida. And Your Honor, the narrative that my client has provided me with completely deviates from the narrative that the state warrants. So we would ask for a signature bond in light of her lack of criminal history and the facts surrounding this incident.
All right, thank you. At this time, defendant is going to receive a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each count. She's to have no contact with the alleged victim in this case, last name Adams. Additionally, she's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition of that bond. Is there anything further from either the state or the defense as it pertains?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, ma'am. All right, that concludes your case at this time. And does that conclude your business, Mr. Collins?
Yes, may I be excused?
Yes, you may. Take care. Have a great afternoon. Is it possible to do Ms. Steele's case next?
Ms. Who? What
Ms.
position?
Steele represents, I'm sorry, who do you represent, Ms. Steele? Mr.
Pavoy,
Collins, I believe,
Collins.
position 4.
Okay, I was just getting ready to ask for their attorney. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Do you still need to talk to her? Go ahead and have a seat. Position 4, Mr. Hollis. Hollis, have a seat.
Mr. Hollins, your case is 23 CR 005637H. You're charged with battery against a pregnant female and battery family violence with the offense date of February the 19th. You understand your rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I put that, will you put the history onto the record, please?
Third adult arrest. Last arrest was February for battery against a female who was pregnant. 2 counts of terroristic threats. That's 23 CP 16. They left out the number. Don't worry about it. But it's open in Superior Court. 2019, inflict corporal injury on a spouse. Dismissed. That's it.
So that arrest back in, that's not this arrest? As a separate charge? I guess so.
What'd you say?
This-
Judge?
Your
This-
Honor, it's a separate charge. There was some confusion on the warrant. These charges were amended to 2 counts of simple battery, 1 simple battery, family violence, and 1 simple battery by itself, standalone. And
Okay,
that amendment was submitted.
may
But
may I ask, in light of the amendment, if I can have identified whom the victim is alleged to be in electronic warrant 0397807?
is
You-
that the, is that the victim from that other February case?
I don't know, Your Honor. I haven't seen the warrant and I'm tracking. I mean, I've spoken with all the witnesses and the alleged accusers, and I was unaware of any amended charge, so that's why I'm inquiring.
The victim in this case is Miss Janae Daughtry and her mother, I believe Michelle Daughtry.
Do we know who the victims were in the prior case?
Yes,
the
we
pro-
go ahead.
Sorry, Mr. Solicitor, I did not mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead, if you were gonna make a statement.
I believe that Miss Janae Daugherty is the alleged victim in the case with the offense date of 12/14/2022.
That is
Okay.
correct.
All right, then Mr. Thomas, please proceed with your recommendation and summation of the facts.
One moment, Your Honor, let me pull that back up. Your Honor, the facts in this case are essentially, sorry. Oh, here, I found it. I'm sorry. The
Oh,
officer,
wait a minute.
the officer
One
was
second.
dispatched to a
Mr. Thomas, Mr. Thomas, hold on one second. Ms. McLeod has not had the opportunity to interview her clients. Is it possible for her to get a number to call the jail while we're doing this? At courtroom 2?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again, Judge?
Ms. McLeod just joined the Zoom and needs to interview her clients. Is there a number she can call the jail to do her interviews while we're going forward?
Yes, the number is going to be Ms. McLeod. We'll call you.
All right, Ms. McLeod, they're getting ready to call you. Thank you. All right, Mr. Thomas, please continue.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
These are the facts associated with the February 19, 2023 incident, but the facts are alleged, as alleged in the report and the warrant, is that the officers were dispatched to a domestic disturbance call. Officers met with the caller, who advised that she was a friend of the victim, and that she was called there, and that she was called by the victim, and the victim told her that she was in the fight with the father of her unborn child, and that she needed her to come to the apartment to call the police. Police eventually arrived to the apartment. They spoke with the victim, who stated that she was lying in her room when the defendant walked into the room drunk, and that an argument ensued, at which point the defendant attempted to punch her in the face. The victim's mother overheard the commotion and attempted to break it up, at which point the defendant spat on the victim and then turned and spat on the victim's mother. Your Honor, given those facts and given the history of this case, Your Honor, the state will be seeking a $5,000 surety bond, no drugs or alcohol, given the presence of alcohol in the incident or in the matter, no contact, a stay away order. We'd be requesting a family violence intervention. And we therefore would like to again point out that there's an open 2023 battery family violence, battery against a pregnant female, and 2 counts of terroristic threats and acts. And we'd also like to note that this case may potentially be transferred up to the DA's office, as there were threats present in this case, specifically the threats being that he would get someone to come back and kill the 2 victims. And so for those reasons, Your Honor, we think that a $5,000 surety bond is more appropriate.
All right, is either of the Daughtry's present on the Zoom conference and wishes to make a statement?
Your Honor, I don't see either of them.
Just one second, Ms. Steele, let me make sure. Because what always happens to me is we move on as if they aren't here and they start talking. Last time I'm sounding for either of the Daughtry's. All right, Ms. Steele, please proceed.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm at a little bit of a detriment because I don't have the warrants in front of me. However, I have spoken with Janae Daughtry and her mother, Michelle Daughtry. I spoke with them yesterday, and I believe that these 2 warrants and the facts are being conflated and or confused. I'm not addressing the offense date of December 14th, 2022, because I was not a part of any representations. I did not represent Mr. Hollins then. However, Ms. Michelle Daughtry, to my knowledge, was named in the warrant ending in 807 with the offense date of February 19th, 2023. And I spoke with her yesterday, and she indicated that she was present on that date, that Mr. Hollins is the father of her grandchild with her daughter, Janae Hollins. The grandchild had not yet been born on this date. She was born a few days later. There was an argument that ensued with Mr. Hollins, with mother and her daughter present. Janae resides in Fulton County, and Michelle, who we believe is the accuser in this warrant, does not reside in Fulton County. She's a resident of Tucson, Arizona. She was present at her daughter's home on this date when Mr. Hollins came by, and she informed me that it became an argumentative encounter. I have an email from her confirming this. I am happy, and that she has confirmed it, and I'm happy to share that with the court as well as the assistant solicitor. She indicated to me, as did Janae Daughtry, that they have no fear of Mr. Hollins at this time, that they do not wish to have a stay away order, There is an ongoing relationship, and they have a young child that they're sharing together. Mr. Hollins currently resides along with a friend of his, not with Miss Janae Daughtry, but he resides at 3324 Peachtree Road with a friend of his in Buckhead. And Mr. Hollins has been employed on and off as an artist. He's actually a Grammy Award-winning musical artist, Your Honor. And we would ask that this court, and he's never missed a court date, and he has absolutely no prior felony convictions. We do take contention with the allegations in the warrant. We'd ask that Your Honor afford him a bond in the amount of $2,000, and that if the court sees fit in doing any special conditions, that they simply be no violent contact, as opposed to a stay away, which, as I indicated to you, both Michelle and Janae Daughtry do not wish imposed. And we think that that would satisfy all of the concerns of the public that the court has, and would reasonably assure Mr. Hollins' appearances in court and future times.
All right, thank you.
Brief. It doesn't seem like the facts substantially differentiated from the facts that were presented by me, but Ms. Steele is a representative of the defendant and not the victims, and the victims have every
Okay,
opportunity.
I'm very clear with all that. In light of the fact that the victims are not here today, I am not going to do the no further violent contact. I am going to do a no contact order. However, Ms. Steele, against my better judgment, if you are able to get them to join this Zoom conference before the end, I will hear from them and make my decision there. It may be that the no contact stands, but I haven't heard from the victim, so I'm not going to do a no further violent contact at this time. Defendant is going to receive a $3,000 surety bond, $1,500 on each of the counts. He's to have no contact with either of the victims. If the child is now born, he can coordinate with a third party to arrange for transport of that child. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. And as a reminder, he'll be reset to October 3rd, state all-purpose calendar. All right? Is there any?
October 3rd is the all-purpose calendar. And Your Honor, if I may go dark and keep my Zoom link alive, I'm going to try to see if I can get either one of the Daughtries to appear on the Zoom link.
All right. And again, it may be that I continue the no contact, Ms. Steele, but I will hear from them if they are present on the Zoom conference.
That's great.
All
And will
right.
Mr. Hollins remain in the courtroom pending my attempts to do that?
I can't speak for what's gonna happen at the jail, but I believe that we can ask. Can he stay at courtroom 2 till the end? Is that possible?
Yes, that's fine.
All right, thank you. But for now, Mr. Hollins is done. Can we move to the next position, please?
Position 6, Morrison.
All right, good afternoon. Your case number is 23 CR 005639B. In this case, you're charged with battery, family violence, and criminal trespass. Do you understand your rights? Is that a yes? Please say yes if you understand your rights.
Yes.
All right, this is first arrest, so Mr. Thomas, please proceed.
Your Honor, the facts of this case is that the incident happened on 9/19/2023. The officers responded to a dispute call. The victim advised that he and the mother of his child, the defendant, were in a verbal dispute that turned physical. The victim advised that he entered the location to gather his items, and as he was retrieving his items, he grabbed a camera of his that was broken. He stated that he then grabbed the defendant's cell phone and she struck him multiple times and pulled his hair out. The victim advised that he was also missing $2,000. Officers observed 3 locks of hair that was missing from the defendant, that was allegedly pulled from the defendant's head. And they also observed lacerations to the victim's hand and upper lip. Officers did not, however, observe any visible injuries to the defendant. Your Honor, the limited criminal history and the nature of the case, we'd be asking for a $1,000 surety bond, no violent contact, and 1 anger management course. And I think our office was also, not I think, I know our office had the opportunity to get in contact with the victim. And I think that they would like to make a statement. So at this time, if we could sound for the victim, that victim being Michael, traditional spelling, last name King.
All right,
yeah.
give me one moment, Mr. King. All right, and I'm sorry, there was no stay away address, no stay away requested, correct?
The incident location, Your Honor, is the stairway address, and that address is 2400 Campbellton Road Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30311.
Okay, so you are requesting no, a stay away, but then no violent contact, okay.
Well,
Mr. King,
it's
please,
contingent upon what he will say. So I'd always leave it open for him to say that, and then if it's his desire, then we do no violent contact, but the default is no contact.
and of course, it's up to me. Mr. King, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm not sentencing Ms. Morrison today. What is gonna happen is we're setting a bond. So what I'm most concerned with is your desires for contact with her and any concerns for your safety. In light of those instructions, what would you like to tell me?
I just think everything got blown out of proportion yesterday. She's not a violent person. She actually a great mother of 7 kids. So I don't know, whatever we can do to try to resolve whatever problem they think it is. I'm down to do it. I don't
Okay.
have no problem with her. I actually, we got a 2-month-old child, and I'm having a hard time watching them without her. I'm really actually going through it.
Okay, I know it's difficult, but I appreciate you coming to court and making this statement. Ms. Abden, in light of the information before me and the alleged victim's testimony, I'm inclined to give Ms. Morrison a signature bond. I understand that the recommendation is through the jail. However, I would like her to take the 1-day anger awareness course, and I'm going to order no further violent contact. Ms. Abden, is there any objection or anything additional you'd like to put onto the record?
No, Your Honor, just to clarify, would be through the jail and 1-day anger awareness.
No, I'm not sending it through the jail. I'm sending it through pretrial per judge.
Okay.
Do you have any objection or anything you'd like to add to the
Um,
record?
I would ask Your Honor to consider it through the jail for it to be less restrictive, considering the fact that she has a 2-month-old daughter and the complaining witness just stated that he can't really assist with watching the children, but otherwise no objection.
All right. Defendant's going to receive a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge, 2,000 count 1, 1,000 count 2. She's to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim, take the 1-day anger awareness course. Additionally, she's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
Nothing
Not-
further to say, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you all.
Position 9, Sears.
And I wasn't at the house.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Sears, your case is 23 CR 005642D. In this case, you're charged with obstruction. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Howard.
6 total. Last arrest was March, sale of marijuana. Hit and run, possession of drug-related objects. That's open in DeKalb County.
Okay.
He's on first offender probation out of Newton County. 2 counts of theft by taking. Last year, they gave him 5 years probation for that. 2020 entering auto theft by taking.
Okay, thank you.
Good
Mr. Walker,
afternoon,
please
Your Honor.
proceed. Good afternoon,
Yes,
please
in this
proceed.
case, there's currently a $1,500 surety bond sent to the 1 count of obstruction. The defendant was recognized by law enforcement as a known suspect in an open felony investigation. Additionally, he had a felony BOP warrant. Upon trying to make contact with the defendant, he did get flight. He eventually was captured and arrested for the 1 count of obstruction. We just ask that the bond remain as said.
All right, Ms. Kim, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, he is only 21 years young, and I was wondering if he can get signature on bond and to be released to Newton County because there is a hold from Newton County, so he's not going anywhere except that location. Your Honor, he is gainfully self-employed. He does have Airbnb business, and also he has vending machines that he operates. He is successfully graduated from high school, and Your Honor, he has a 2 years old child that he has to take care of. So we would like him to be released and go to Newton County to take care of his outstanding matters there, and he's not qualified for public defender services. Thanks.
All right, defendant will receive a $3,000 SOB through the jail. Is there anything further from either party?
From the stage.
Nothing further.
All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Sears. That concludes your hearing at this time. Who do we have next?
Position 8, Primus.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Primus. Your case is 23 CR 005641F. You're charged with battery family violence. You understand your rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Howard, can you put the history onto the record, please? Mr. Howard,
My bad, I stepped away. Who are we on?
position 8, Mr. Primus.
7 total. Last arrest was 2 days ago for suspended registration. That's
Mhm.
what the cycle says. He got another one as well. His last violent arrest was 1997.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 2731 Black Forest Trail, where they spoke with the victim, Miss Alicia Merriweather. She advised that her and the defendant were in a verbal altercation. She eventually tried to leave. The defendant prevented her from leaving, at which point she actually had to grab her pepper spray and attempted to pepper spray him in order to escape. He continued to chase her. He almost actually ripped her dress off. She was eventually able to escape, but prior to her escaping, he actually also put her in a headlock. I believe Ms. Merriweather may be on the line, so I would ask that the court sound for her. The state is asking
Yes.
for the
Please
state
hold.
is asking for a
Go ahead.
$3,000 surety, no further contact with the victim, and to stay away from the incident location, no weapons, drugs, and alcohol. Thank you.
I'm sorry, the amount requested again, Mr. Walker? I couldn't hear.
$3,000 surety.
Okay. All right, Ms. Millweather, if you're present, please raise your right hand, turn on your camera. Do you swear?
Yes, ma'am, I'm present.
All right, do you swear in the affirmative testimony you give today will be true to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. What we are most concerned with today is any concerns you have for your safety in dealing with the defendant and your desires for contact. I'm not sentencing him. So if you disagree with some of the facts as alleged by Mr. Walker, those need not be addressed today necessarily. In light of those instructions, what would you like to tell me, Ms. Millweather? Is Ms. Millweather frozen?
It seems like it.
It appears that she is.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
We
We're gonna
get
go-
in contact with her, so I'll let defense go. And if she's not back by the time you
That's it.
finish your argument, I'll just give a synopsis of what she told our victim advocate.
Okay. I was hoping she was gonna fix it this 1 second, but go ahead, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor, my client was born 1979, so he is 44 years old. He was born and raised here in Georgia, Your Honor. He is gainfully employed at City of East Point as a water treat operator. He has been doing that for about 3 months, and he successfully graduated from high school, and he's not going to be qualified for public defender services. Indeed, he does have a private attorney who will come substitute a little bit later after this. And Your Honor, I would like to request for signature on bond. As you heard from the pretrial, his last offense anything that is related to violence was very remote. It was 1997, and we have no objection to no further contact and stay away from her place. This location, they do not live together, Your Honor. And it is my client's house where he has been residing very long time. And Your Honor, they do not have any child together. And my client has two other children, 14 and 10, that he is paying a lot of child support every month. So he does have to keep his job. We would like to request for a signature on bond. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Millweather, please. I'm not sure if we could hear you being placed under
Yeah,
oath.
my phone overheated. Sorry, I'm back.
All right, raise your hand. Do you swear and affirm testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, again, I'm not sentencing him, so if you disagree with the facts, that's not really my primary concern. My concern are your statements regarding contact and any concerns you have for your safety. What would you like to tell me at this time, Ms. Millweather?
Well, Your Honor, I'm not personally afraid of Corey Prentice. I really do love him dearly. I just would rather us work it out rather than to stay away. As far as him, as me being afraid of him and just not wanting to be around him, that's not the case in this matter. I feel like that he is a very good guy, and with a few classes or anger management, I think that we both can honestly become better people after this situation. It's just about learning our lesson and just moving forward with our life.
All right.
And Your Honor, if I could just ask two brief questions.
You can ask two very brief questions, Mr. Walker, because I think I have the flavor of this case.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayweather. My name is Ian. I'm the prosecutor in this case. I just want to ask you a couple questions, okay?
Okay.
Did you call the police in this incident?
I did call the police.
Okay. And then did you tell the police officer that was on the scene that you had to pepper spray the defendant in an effort to get away?
No, I didn't pepper spray him to get away. He actually allowed me to leave. I pepper sprayed him to drop my things. He wasn't preventing me to leave. He was just kept grabbing my things, and I just wanted him for me to grab my things. He was never forcing me not to leave. I called the police, not because of my fear. I called them so that they can escort me out. If you can hear back at the police call, the first 911 call, it was never that he was aggressive towards me. It was only to escort me out. And if you look at the previous call records of police, you can notice that I never called them for any domestic violence, only just to escort me out as to prevent any of this from happening. So he's never been
true that you had to pepper spray him, correct?
I did have to pepper spray him just to drop my things because he was proceeding to take my things to the back, but never to restrict me from leaving. I did not pepper spray him to restrict me from leaving. And if you can refer back to the video cam, I never said that.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further at this time. The state is still maintaining the no further contact, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Kim, since I allow Mr. Walker to ask some questions, if you would very briefly like to do the same, I'll allow it.
Nothing further from defense.
All right. Defendant will receive a $3,000 signature bond through a pretrial per judge if he was not recommended. I can't recall. He's to have no contact with the alleged victim at this time. Of course, contact can be revisited at a later date. He is additionally take the 1-day anger awareness class, and he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons at this time. Is there anything further from either Ms. Kim or Mr. Walker?
Nothing for the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Best of luck to all parties. That concludes the case. I see Ms. Daughtry is on the line. Mr. Primus, please don't make any statements. I don't want you to infringe upon your right to remain silent. I've given you a signature bond today. If you have additional questions, the best thing to do is to speak to Ms. Kim, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank
What was
you.
that contact?
No further contact. All right, I see Ms. Daughtry is on the line. I will hear from her briefly. At this time, I believe that the Mr. Hollings, in his case, I ordered a $3,000 surety and no contact with the alleged victim, either of them. Though I'm hearing from Ms. Daughtry, I don't believe that her mom is present. So this contact that I'm hearing would only pertain to Ms. Daughtry. Ms. Daughtry, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
And again, I'm not sentencing the defendant today, so if you disagree with anything that, the state may have said, I know that you did not hear those things. That is not my primary concern. My primary concern is any concerns you may have for your safety and any concerns about desires for contact with the alleged, with the defendant. What would you like to tell me at this time?
I don't really have anything to add. I just wanted to not have a for the bond for a contact. I wanted there to be contact
Okay.
because I don't feel unsafe around this person.
Okay. Anything from the state of the defense?
Ms. Daughtry, this is Colette Steele. I know you and I have spoken, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, and you have a child with Mr. Hollins?
Yes, correct. I do.
Okay, and do you wish for him to be in, be able to have contact with you and with your child?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and you don't reside together?
No, we do. We do live together.
You and your child?
Yes.
Okay, but you don't reside full-time with Mr. Hollins?
No, we do live together.
Okay, do you have any concerns with him also living with you?
No, I don't have any concerns.
Okay, and since the incident in February of 2023, you have felt safe with him in your home?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Two brief questions, Your Honor. Miss Daughtry, are you the victim associated with the 2022 December case?
I believe I am listed as one, yes.
And the court allowed you to have no further violent contact on that case?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Or I'm not 100% sure. I believe so, but I'm not 100% sure.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, the ruling will stand. I appreciate him coming to court, you coming to court, Ms. Daughtry. And is there anything further from Mr. Thomas or Ms. Steele?
I just want to clarify, Your Honor is not changing the
I'm not changing the contact provision, but I will still allow the third party transfer.
Okay. You will say that one more time, please, Your Honor?
I'm allowing them to do a third party transfer of the child, but the no contact provision will stand.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right,
Appreciate
and does that conclude your business today, Ms. Steele?
it. Does. May I be excused?
Yes, it does. Take care.
Thank
Have a
you,
good
Your Honor.
day. All right, who do we have next?
Judge, I just want to make a quick announcement to see if we actually have the Portuguese interpreter available yet.
I've been looking. I don't believe we do.
Okay, next we can go ahead and do position number 12, Ms. Vaughn.
All right, good afternoon, Ms. Vaughn. Your case is 23 CR 005645C. You're charged with possession and use of drug-related objects, driving while license is suspended, no insurance, and not having a decal. Do you understand your rights today? You cannot. I believe you're muted. You understand your rights? All right, Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please, or put it onto the record, please?
5 total. Last arrest was May 2022, suspended license. Has an open theft by conversion in Superior Court. I also got an open 21 CP 19903. Improper erratic lane change, homicide by vehicle first degree, reckless driving, DUI. Open case out of Clayton County for suspended license. Got a 2021 theft by conversion, 2020 theft by conversion, and a Clayton County FTA warrant. That's it.
All right. Please proceed, Mr. Walker.
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant was stopped by law enforcement. They did make contact with her, at which time they determined that she had a suspended license. She did not have any insurance. Her license plates were expired at the time of the stop, and she also was found to have a glass pipe, also known as a crack pipe, in her car. As you heard from pretrial, she previously has a suspended license on her history. She has an open vehicle homicide case, and I believe that she had another driving infraction. Currently, on the count 1, it's a $1,500 surety. On count 2, it's a $1,000 surety. On count 3, $1,000 surety, count 4, $1,000 surety. In total, that is a $4,500 surety. The state is asking for that bond to remain as sit, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol, and no driving while out on bond if it's not already a condition of her felony case.
Okay. Ms. McLeod, is this your case?
It is, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My
Please
client is
proceed.
31 years old. She tells me that she's currently unemployed and she is also homeless. I would ask the court to take that into consideration in setting her bond. She also tells me that the car that she was driving was not hers, Your Honor. So she was unaware that the permit had expired and also that it did not have any insurance. She says that this is someone that I think the father of one of her children, it was his car and she was unaware. As the state has said, as Petrala said, she does have a hold out of Clayton County, Your Honor. So if the court will consider giving her a signature bond so she can be released to the hold in Clayton County, we definitely would appreciate that, Your Honor, because she's in no position to pay bond. So if she doesn't get a signature bond, she'll be just sitting in jail in Fulton County. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, defendant's gonna receive a $10,000 signature, $10,000 signature bond through the jail, $2,500 each count. She is absolutely not to drive whatsoever, and she's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, ma'am. That concludes your case at this time.
Position 11, Smith.
Okay.
Hey, Your Honor, if I could just chime in right quick, I think I see the family of a Michael Menifee. He was on our misdemeanor pool sheet this morning, but I'm actually going to NOD this case. So they're
Okay.
here for that individual. I don't know if the court would like to dismiss them. I just
All right, that case is dismissed. Everyone here for Michael Menifee, that case is no longer holding him in the Fulton County Jail. All right, who do we have at courtroom 2?
Position 11, Smith.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Smith. Your case is 23 CR 005644E. In this case, you're charged with criminal trespass. Do you understand your rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please?
6 total. Last arrest was in May for simple assault. You got open simple assault, simple battery, trespass in state court, and the open battery. Also, open case in Clayton for ag assault, kidnapping, robbery, and battery. That's it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 2835 Eleanor Terrace. They spoke to Ms. Shakanika Williams. She called the law enforcement officer because the defendant was at their residence. He had previously attacked her mother, Barbara Williams. The officer that actually responded to the incident location, he was familiar with the defendant, and he was familiar with the defendant because he himself personally had previously criminally trespassed that defendant from that location. At that time, the defendant was arrested for criminal trespass. We are asking that the $5,000 surety bond that is currently set remain in place. No further contact with Barbara Williams and Shakanika Williams, and then stay away from 2835 Eleanor Terrace.
Are either of the Williams present on the Zoom conference? All right, hearing and seeing none. Is that either of the parties at the Samsung device? I don't believe so. All right, Ms. McLeod, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Smith is 30 years old. He tells me that he was just recently laid off, so he's currently unemployed and has been unemployed for quite some time, Your Honor. So he's definitely not in a position to post bond. He also tells me that he has a 6-year-old daughter who just had an open heart surgery and is about to go back in because there was an issue with her surgery, and he is a huge support system for that child and he wants to be with her. I understand that he does have some history, Your Honor, but I didn't hear any convictions in pre-trial read his history. It was just cases that were pending or arrests. So based on that, I would ask the court to consider giving him a signature bond. And by the way, Your Honor, he denies absolutely that he was at that house. He said he was at a store when he was arrested. He says that he has a girlfriend who lives in the same neighborhood and that the alleged victim's daughter saw him and she was the one who reported to law enforcement that he was in the neighborhood, but he was absolutely not at that house.
And Your Honor, if I could just chime in, I know the court may be wondering, but I have checked in the previous battery family violence. This defendant is this victim is the same victim as the other case.
All right.
And there, of course, was no further contact. Actually, I just checked the third case. She's the victim in all three of his cases. So.
Okay, understood. At this time, defendant received a $2,000 surety bond. He's to have no contact with either of the victims and stay away from the incident location. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor. That concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Take care, Ms. McCall. Always good to see you. Take care.
Good to see you too, Your Honor.
All right, that's the end of your case, sir. Best of luck to you. Who do we have next?
Position 5, Maddox.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Maddox. Your case is 23 CR 0056388E. You're charged with theft by taking. You understand your right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have the history?
7 total. Last arrest was in May for trespass and obstruction. It's open in state court. He has an open 21 CP 204907. False statements or writings. Open burglary, 2nd degree, 22 CP 213631. Open case out of Clayton County for battery, criminal trespass. And he got a failure to appear from this year.
All right, thank you. Mr. Thomas?
Your Honor, the facts of this case are such that the officers responded to the incident location of 812 Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard, Atlanta, Georgia, and Fulton County, Georgia, 30310. The officers responded to the call because it was a theft call. The victim advised that a black male had taken his Apple Watch. Incident was captured on clear video. Officers were able to eventually locate the suspect or the defendant in this case, and victim was later able to ID the suspect. Your Honor, the state would be asking for given the criminal history and the nature of the 3 open cases, 2 in Fulton and 1 in another jurisdiction, the state would be asking for a $2,000 surety bond, no contact, and to stay away from the incident location. And the victim in this case is listed as Montrece, Montrecee, Ivory, traditional spelling Ivory. I believe there's nothing further from the state to add at this time.
All right, is Mr. or is it perhaps it's Miss Ivory present on the Zoom conference that wishes to make a statement? Okay, hearing none, Ms. Abden?
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 20 years old. He was born in Atlanta, has lived here his whole life. He lives with his grandparents and his son, who is 1 year old and 9 months. He has autism, and my client is very involved in caring for him. And he tells me that his child is his #1 priority. He's gainfully employed at 55th and Park as a dishwasher, where he's been working for the past 1.5 years. His indigency is a concern. A $2,000 bond for my client would be no bond at all. He can't afford it. I understand there are open cases and the state's concern, but it's my understanding he's already on an ankle monitor at this time, and they are open cases, not convictions. So he's presumed innocent until proven guilty. And so I'm asking for a signature bond for him to be able to return home and care for his son. And if Your Honor is not inclined, a signature bond, a surety bond at $200, which is all he can afford at this time.
All right, defendant will receive a $500 surety bond. He's to have no contact with the alleged victim, stay away from that location, and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything further?
And I don't know if it matters, Your Honor, but it's a male, the victim.
Mr. Montrece Ivory. All right, best of luck to you, sir. That concludes your case.
Thank
Who do
you.
we have next?
This is an add-on, position Kevin Kinney.
Oh, I didn't get, there's an add-on calendar?
I don't have one either.
I don't think so. I don't think
The
this
state,
person.
the state is prepared, and apparently he's been left off the pull sheet 2 days in a row. So we do have to, we do have to proceed. So it won't be a Riverside. It's just a shoplifting case.
All right. So is there a case number assigned? Because we do have to have that in order for him to get out. What's the case number?
Let me check. I filed it down. Let me see if the clerk has pulled it down.
And any news on the Portuguese interpreter from Ms.
No,
Gray?
ma'am. Judge, Mr. Jordan said they have not heard back as of yet from.
Okay, that case may have to be reset, unfortunately.
So there is not a case number. I don't know if Mr. Jordan is on the line, but if someone from the clerk's office can pull those accusations down, we can get the case number and we can just.
We're
push
gonna
this-
have to have one if we.
I'm checking on it right now, Judge.
Okay, let's
What
come
was the
back.
name? What was the name, Mr. Walker?
Will you
Kevin-
chat it to Ms. Grace?
I will,
Yes,
yeah.
please, thank you.
All right, is there another position we can go to while we, or all the rest are breakouts?
I do have a couple of announcements, Judge, for
Okay.
position number 3, they bonded out.
Okay. All
For
right,
Position number 7, they waived their appearance.
okay,
Also, for position number 10, they waived their appearance as well.
and 13. All right, so we're gonna go into the breakout now. Mr. Walker is gonna come with us, but still work on getting those cases filed down. And if I could go into a breakout with Mr. Walker, I believe Ms. Kim would need to come. Mr. Thomas, I believe, has one of these cases as well, and Ms. Abden. Is there anyone else who needs to come? I don't think so.
You said Mr. Pierre Thomas, Mr. Walker, Ms. Kim, Ms. Admin, and yourself, and Ms. Bridgewater.
Yes, please.
Okay,
And
and
we'll rely on the state in the breakout for the history. We won't put that onto the record yet.
okay, and Mr. Jordan is working on Mr. Kevin Kinney, Mr. Walker. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I be added to the breakout room, please?
I'm sorry, who wants to be added?
Custody Court Associate.
Okay, will do.
All right, as it pertains to Potts Gibson, position 7, the defendant's gonna receive a $2,000 SOB through the jail. He is to stay away from that incident location and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition of that SOB through the jail. We're now gonna take up the Wave case, position 10, case 23 CR 00463 C, in which the defendant is charged with criminal trespass. Mr. Howard, will you put the history onto the record for me?
Fifth arrest, last arrest was on the 8th of this month for trespass. That's open. Got another open trespass out of Chatham County. 2021 criminal trespass, 2016 DUI.
All right, thank you, Mr. Walker.
Yes, law enforcement was dispatched to apartment complex located at 694 Durant Place, where they spoke with the property manager, Tiffany Jones. She advised that the defendant was in one of the units at their property. He had previously been criminally trespassed and actually arrested for this same exact offense previously. At that time, he was taken into custody. There currently is a $4,000 surety bond that has been set by the magistrate. We ask that remains as set.
All right.
And of course, a stay away from that incident location. I'm sorry.
Understood. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is actually 29 years old, Your Honor, and actually he is not employed as of now, so he is qualified for public defender services. He's not going to be able to pay for any bond because of his indigency. So we would like to request for signature on bond for this criminal trespass. He understands that he cannot go back there ever again, so we would like to request for that. Thank you.
All right, I'll lower it slightly. Defendant will receive a $2,000 surety bond. He's to stay away from that location and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. All right, we'll now take the other Wave case, 23 CR.
Sorry, excuse me, Judge, I don't mean to interrupt. I do have a quick announcement for the Portuguese interpreter case. She just stated that she also speaks Spanish. So
Yes, that we're working on that as well. We're aware.
Okay, thank you so much.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
Excuse me, Judge, Ms. Adrian will be signing on shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Your
All
Honor,
right.
just in case if he can get accepted to PAD program for Mr. Jones because he is residentially challenged. I was wondering if Your Honor can modify the bond to signature on bond. So I think that also requires Mr. Walker's consent as well.
If he's accepted by PAD, Mr. Walker, I would be inclined to convert it at that point, but we need proof of that PAD acceptance. Now, Mr. Walker, does the state object?
So the way that works is Pat will only accept him if we dismiss the case, and seeing how this is his second open case at the same
They're
location.
not gonna dismiss it, yeah.
If it was the first one, yes, but not the second time around.
Well, Ms. Kim, encourage Mr. Howard to continue dynamic discussions with Mr. Walker. They tend to come up with something when they work well together. And I'm sure you'll find a solution to get a placement for Mr. Sean.
He can take a time served plea today.
I'm sure he can.
Very dynamic.
I'm sure that is an option, but please y'all can continue that discussion. Let's take the second Wave case, 23 CR 005647F, in which defendant is charged with obstruction. And is it 2 counts of I see 3 charges. What is it?
Obstruction, disorderly conduct, and simple assault.
Oh, simple assault. Okay, it's next to it. That really confused me. All right, Mr. Howard, will you put that history onto the record, please?
For who? What's the defendant name?
Where? Position 13.
26 total. Last arrest was in July, failure to appear. Got a 2022 trespass conviction, 2019 simple battery no law. 2019 trespass conviction. We got a couple of probation violations, 2017, 2018. 2017 simple battery DV, trespass DV no load. 2016 probation, 2012 parole, and 2008 robbery theft by taking conviction. That's it.
All right, understood. Mr. Walker, please proceed.
Yes, law enforcement was dispatched to 790 Mansell Road to an individual that was panhandling in front of a convenience store. They made contact with the defendant. He requested that the officer take him to the hospital. The officer actually obliged, and actually when the officer was pulling off from, I think it was Wellstar North Fulton, he got a call back from the hospital. He returned to the emergency room. He spoke with the medical staff. The defendant was acting irate, grabbing his bag, reaching into his bag, saying that he had a firearm and was making threats to the medical staff. Those are the basis to the disorderly conduct and the simple assault. There currently is a $5,000 surety bond on each count, totaling to a $15,000 surety. As the court has heard from pretrial, the defendant has a quite lengthy criminal history with sounded like numerous violent offenses, probation violations, FTAs. So we are asking that the bond remain as set, not to return to that medical facility unless receiving treatment. Nothing further at this time.
All right, Ms. Kim, and I see Ms. Chancey is on the line. So once we finish this, we'll see if we can do a breakout, hopefully. All right, please proceed, Ms. Kim.
Yes, my client is 41 years old. He was born and raised here in Georgia, Your Honor. As I said, he is receiving SSI for disability, and he completed up to 10th grade education, and also he is not employed. So he's qualified for public defender services. Indeed, we are considering him for MMHC. So if he is accepted to MMHC, we would like to request for a signature on bond for those 3 charges so he can get better treatment. Thanks.
All right.
If I could just chime in briefly, that's not the way MMH mental health court works. We give them a surety bond and then they're transferred to the mental health calendar. I think will be next Thursday. They go in front of Judge Kirk and then she will issue the signature bond if she sees fit.
I think we understand, Mr. Walker. Ms. Kim was speaking in the optimistic sense.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think we all know that you don't get a signature. It doesn't work like that. All right, defendant's going to receive a $6,000 surety bond, $2,000 on each count. I'm not going to order any type of stay away because it was a hospital, correct?
It was.
Yeah, so I won't unless I guess he needs to stay away unless he's receiving treatment.
Yeah, that's what is usually done, Judge.
Yeah, and there was no victim's name, correct?
Mark McDonald, but that was the officer's name, so.
Yeah, no further violent contact with Mr. Mark McDonald. And no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. All right.
Now, I show two victims. Is it just the Mark? I show a Stephanie Phillips, somebody, I can't pronounce her last name. So.
You can put down both, Ms. Grace.
All right.
All our bases covered. Thank you for having my bag. Miss Bridgewater. I'm sorry, I'm tired.
I always have you.
Now, are we lucky enough that the add-on case does not belong to Miss Kim?
That belongs to me, Your Honor.
Okay.
Did you just get the calendar?
There's that. I didn't get it. I was speaking in the hopeful. I don't have an add-on yet. So we're gonna go ahead and let Miss Kim go into the breakout. Judge,
I'll send it to you. I just received it. I'll send it to you.
Thank you. Is the young lady who needs the breakout at courtroom 2?
They're gonna actually appear. They're going to courtroom number 3. They're en route now.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I understand that you've taken it already, but Miss Kim has to do both, so she could have stayed, to be honest, but okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they already took her.
All right, that's okay. We'll be on a very brief hold until Miss Kim returns.
What do we want to do? Miss Kim is still here.
Miss Kim's got to do the interview though with her client, and then she's got to go into a breakout to be able to interview with the help of Miss Chancey. So we're stuck. There's nothing we can do. But what we can do is ask Miss Bridgewater to please review the calendar for us.
Sure can.
If we're gonna break out the courtroom with the interpreter.
I'm sorry, Miss Grace, will you put courtroom 3 into the breakout with Miss Kim and Miss Chancey? Miss Chancey, very quickly raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm today you will make an accurate translation from English to Spanish, Spanish to English to the best of your skills, knowledge, and ability?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Thank you. All
Yeah.
right, we can go into the breakout and Ms. Bridgewater can review.
Thank you,
Okay.
will do.
All right. Once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is October the 3rd. We're holding on position number 1. Position number 2 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. Position 3 has been reset further notice as the defendant has been released. Position 4 is reset to the SAP calendar with a total $3,000 good bond. 5 is reset. I got it right here. I'm gonna come back to 5. Let's go to 6. 6 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Going back to 5, 5 is reset to the SAP calendar with a total $500 good bond. 7 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. 8 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. 9 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. 10 is going to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. 11, reset to the SAP calendar, a $2,000 good bond. 12 is reset further notice with a total $10,000 SOB through the jail. And 13 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $6,000 good bond. That's what we have so far. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
I
Did
have
you
a
say somebody?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna ask to confirm that the NOD for Menefee was filed. He's 18. His parents are a little worried, so I just wanted to make sure that was filed.
Give me 2 seconds.
Mr.
Okay,
Howard,
thank
what was
you.
your question?
You said number 3 bonded out?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we'll be on hold until Ms. Kim's return. Thank you.
I do have a quick question, Judge, for the add-on position, well, it's not position, Kevin Kinney, is he gonna be? going-
Yes, he'll be taken, but he's Ms. Kim's as well,
Okay,
so we're stuck. All
okay,
right, thank
thank
you.
you.
You ready, Ms. Kim?
Yes, I am ready.
All right.
1 second.
Are we the last ones?
Think so.
Oh, wow.
All right, let's proceed with position 1, case number 23 CR 005646Y, in which is the defendant back?
Eh, I don't see her, Your Honor.
Courtroom 3 is not here.
Oh, so
What do you want to do, Mr.
Hey,
Kim?
Judge. Have a seat.
oh, there she is.
All right, good afternoon, Ms. Batista. Your case is 23 CR 005646Y.
Buenas tardes, señora Batista. El número de caso suyo es 23CR005646Y.
In this case, you're charged with simple assault, family violence.
Usted tiene un cargo por golpes y lesiones simples, violencia familiar.
You have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Usted tiene un absoluto derecho a guardar silencio. Todo lo que diga puede y será usado en su contra.
You have a right to an attorney, and Ms. Kim is here to represent you.
Usted tiene el derecho a ser representada por un abogado y la señorita Kim está aquí para representarla.
This proceeding is being conducted over the internet as a live stream.
Esta audiencia está siendo publicada a través de la internet.
That means any member of the public can log on and watch.
Quiere decir que cualquier miembro del público puede observarla.
Do you understand your rights today?
¿Usted entendió esos derechos hoy?
Sí.
Yes?
Sí, yes.
All right. This is her first arrest, so we'll go straight to Mr. Walker.
Este es el primer arresto. Vamos a ir directamente con el señor Walker.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 7004 Lakefield Place. They spoke with the victim, Mr. Anzi Batista.
I'm sorry, 4 Lake Trace?
Lakefield Place.
Lakefield Place.
Yes.
En este caso, su señoría, la policía fue enviada al 7004 Lakeville Place y en donde se hablaron con el señor Batista. I'm sorry, it was Batista and who else?
I'm not sure where I left off, but he's the victim in this case, also the husband,
okay.
husband of the defendant.
Usni Batista.
He advised that he and his wife were engaged in a verbal altercation due to marital issues.
Él dijo que él y su esposo se involucraron en una discusión verbal debido a problemas de matrimonio.
At which point she became irate and began to throw glass dishes in his direction.
En el momento en que ella se irritó y comenzó a lanzar vidrio y platos en la dirección del esposo.
The victim was able to show camera footage to the officer of this incident.
La víctima pudo mostrar un video del incidente a la policía.
At that time, the defendant was arrested.
En ese momento, la acusada fue arrestada.
The state is asking for a $2,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, Anzi Batista, and a stay away from the incident location, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol.
La fiscalía pide una fianza bajo garantía de $2,000, que no tenga más contacto con la víctima, Usni Batista, que se mantenga alejada de la dirección antes mencionada y queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas.
At this time, I'm sounding for Mr. Batista.
Señor Usni Batista, se encuentra en la plataforma. Por favor, prenda su micrófono y cámara. Usni Batista.
All right, hearing and seeing none, Ms. Kim?
Yes, my
Señorita
client,
Kim.
yes, my client is 39 years old and she's from Brazil.
Mi cliente tiene 39 años y ella es de Brasil.
She came here about 7 days ago.
Ella ha llegado hace 7 días atrás.
Her husband and my client are traveling with a tourist visa.
Mi cliente y su esposo están viajando por aquí con una visa de turismo.
And she plans to return home, which is Brazil, to take care of her 11 years old daughter.
Ella planea regresar a su hogar, que es Brasil, en donde vive su hija de 11 años.
She is actually a university teacher, teaching language, Portuguese language.
Ella es profesora de la universidad y enseña idiomas, el idioma portugués.
She also has a bachelor's degree.
Ella también tiene su licenciatura.
We would like to request for a signature on bond through jail.
Queremos solicitar una fianza no monetaria bajo firma a través de la cárcel.
For the plea arraignment, she can waive and she can hire a private attorney here in Georgia to represent her. She can come back, she can fly out here, or she can stay here with her tourist visa for 6 months.
Vamos a renunciar a tomar declaración. Ella puede contratar un abogado una vez que esté fuera y puede ir a ver a su hija y regresar a la corte cuando deba hacerlo o permanecer por la duración de la visa de turista aquí.
Defense had no chance to review any video footage about this case, and she denies the allegation.
No, la defensa no ha recibido ningún video y en este momento mi cliente niega los alegatos.
All right. Question, where is the defendant a resident of?
Muy bien, ¿dónde fue arrestada?
Staying with her husband, Osni Batista, at 7004 Lakefield Place.
Ella permanece con su esposo Osni Batista en el 7004 Lakeview Place.
I see Mr. Batista on the line now. Mr. Batista, would you like to make a statement?
Veo al señor Batista ahora. ¿Quiere hacer una declaración ante mí, señor Batista? Prenda su micrófono y cámara. Señor Batista, ¿me puede escuchar?
Okay. I'm hoping Mr. Batista can turn on the camera so that we can speak to the contact.
Por favor, señor Osni Batista, prenda su cámara y micrófono.
I'm sorry.
Hola. ¿Usted habla inglés, señor?
I'm sorry, I don't speak English.
Ok, ¿habla portugués?
Sí.
Solo háblenme, pero habla español, ¿verdad?
No, un poquito.
Háblame despacio en español. Mr. Batista speaks mostly Portuguese, but Portuguese speakers can speak Spanish if we try to do it slowly, Your Honor.
It's close, I understand.
Yes.
All right, please interpret as best you can.
Yes,
Mr.
Your Honor.
Batista, raise your right hand.
Señor Batista, levante su mano derecha, por favor.
Do you swear that you will, the testimony you give today will be the truth?
¿Usted jura o afirma que la declaración que dará será la verdad?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you wish to have contact with your wife and do you have any concerns for your safety?
¿Quiere usted continuar teniendo contacto con su esposa? ¿Tiene alguna preocupación acerca de su seguridad?
Desculpe, no comprendí, no ouvi.
Okay, I will repeat, Your Honor. ¿Usted tiene temor a su esposa? ¿Le tiene miedo a su esposa? ¿Tiene usted miedo que ella ponga en peligro su seguridad?
No.
No.
Is there anything else you want to tell me?
¿Hay algo más que usted quiera decir a la jueza?
No.
No.
What was he
All right.
saying no to, the contact, or if he has any concerns for his safety?
Does he have, let's ask it a single question. Does he have any concerns for his safety?
Señor, el fiscal está preguntando si usted quiere contactar a su esposa de nuevo. Y la jueza preguntó, ¿tiene usted preocupación? ¿Le teme a ella por su seguridad?
No.
No. Let me clarify. I'm sorry.
Let's cut it into two questions. First question, do you have any concerns for your safety?
¿Usted tiene miedo por su seguridad si ella regresa?
No.
No. Can you
And
ask
do-
the contact?
And do you have,
partner?
do you wish to have contact with your wife?
¿Usted quiere seguir teniendo contacto con la esposa suya?
Se eu quero, deixa eu ver se eu entendi. Se eu quero.
Si quiere seguir viendo a su esposa, estar junto con su esposa.
No.
¿No quiere estar junto con ella?
No.
The answer is no, Your Honor.
He does not wish to have contact with his wife?
¿Usted no quiere ver a su esposa más?
Estamos em divórcio.
¿Perdón?
Estamos em divórcio.
¿Están divorciados o se están divorciando?
Sí.
Oh, they are divorced.
Okay. All right, Ms. Kim, they do not reside together, correct?
¿Ellos no viven juntos?
Sí,
Yes, we do.
Okay. Ms. Kim, if I order the stay away and no contact, does she have somewhere to stay?
¿Tiene algún lugar ella si no puede regresar más a la casa?
Se eu tenho lugar para
No,
ir.
la señora suya, la señora Batista. Señora Batista, ¿tiene un lugar a donde ir si no puede usted regresar a la casa?
Ela tem.
No, la señora, usted no, señor.
Ah, perdão. Pensei que
No,
perguntou.
no hay problema, no hay problema. Señora, ¿tiene otro lugar? Espéreme un minuto. Señora Lidia Batista, ¿tiene a dónde ir si la jueza no la deja volver a la casa del 700 Lakeville Place?
sí.
¿Tiene otro lugar, seguro?
Sí.
Yes. The answer is yes, Your Honor.
Do you have somewhere else to stay or they live together? I got confused. We went so long, Ms.
Yes, I made sure, but I'll be glad to ask again. Señora, la jueza quiere preguntarle de nuevo. ¿Tiene usted un lugar a donde ir
Sí.
o solamente puede vivir con él?
Sí, tiene lugar.
Yes, I have another place.
Okay. All right, defendant is going to receive a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. She's to have no contact with the alleged victim and stay away from that address.
Entonces, la sentencia es una fianza de $2,000 no monetaria, bajo firma, a través de los servicios previos al juicio. No debe tener ningún contacto más con la víctima, el señor Batista, y debe mantenerse distanciada. No puede volver a la dirección del 7004 Lakeville Place. No puede volver más.
Sí.
Yes.
All right. Ms. Chancey, will you let her know about orientation?
Señora, le van a dar un formulario donde que usted tiene que llenar y ahí van a haber instrucciones en inglés. Consiga a alguien que se las lea, porque van a ser instrucciones para usted hacer lo que ellos le digan después que salga. ¿Comprende? Si no, pregúnteme. Please ask me if you don't understand.
Sí, comprendo.
Entonces, esas instrucciones usted las tiene que tener bien traducidas porque le van a pedir que vuelva, le van a dar indicaciones. ¿Comprende? Do you understand?
Sí, comprendo.
Yes, I understand.
All right. Anything further, Mr. Walker or Ms. Kim?
¿Algo más, señor Boca? Señora Kim? No.
All right. Best of luck to you, Ms. Batista. That
Mucha
concludes your
suerte,
case.
señora. Esto termina su caso por hoy.
All right. That concludes
Can
the
I tell
case.
Mr. Batista that it's all?
Yes, please.
Señor Osni Batista, ya puede retirarse. Puede irse.
Posso?
Gracias.
Gracias.
All right. That concludes the case. Thank you.
All right.
Now, and Ms. Chancey, please, I know we're done, but please sound just in case.
Yes, Your Honor. ¿Hay alguien más que necesite un intérprete o interpretación en español? Por favor, prenda su cámara.
¿Puedo
All
pagar
right.
fianza en dinero?
¿Perdón?
¿Yo puedo pagar la fianza en dinero?
Can I pay my own bond?
I've allowed you to sign yourself out of the jail.
May I explain a little bit? It's a
Yes,
different
please, Ms.
system.
Chancey.
Thank you, Your Honor. Señora, le han otorgado una fianza que aquí se llama bajo firma. Es decir, que usted es una fianza no monetaria. Solo usted debe firmar y esa firma es una garantía de que usted va a regresar a la nueva sesión.
Ah, sí.
Y si usted incumple, se le ordenará una orden de arresto. Si usted no regresa.
Comprendo.
Ok. Thank you. Usted va a poder salir sin pagar.
Gracias.
Thank you.
All right. Best of luck to everyone. And Ms. Chancey, you can be excused.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good evening.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
All right. We're going to now take the add-on. Case 23 CR 005658F. Defendant is charged with theft by shoplifting, obstruction, and possession. You understand your rights?
Yeah.
And Ms. Kim, have you had the opportunity to interview him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, thank the Lord for that one. Mr. Walker, please proceed.
Yes,
I'm sorry, do we have the history? I'm sorry, this was not first arrest. Mr. Howard, we put the history onto the record?
19 total. Last arrest was 2020. Possession of a Schedule 1 or 2 narcotic window tint. We got an open possession of a firearm by convicted felon or felony first offender. 19 SC 169215. Open possession of cocaine. 20 SC 174932. Got a couple of FTAs from 2019 as well as probation violations. 2018 probation, 2017 theft by taking conviction.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Walker, please proceed.
Yes, and I also have that he has 2 open felony cases that are possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Both of those cases are in FTA status, and he also has another felony case that he's currently being held on with a no bond status. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to the Dollar General located at 8725 Roswell Road. The defendant took 13 Black and Mild cigars. The officer that was investigating this incident identified the suspect outside of the store. He made contact with the defendant, and I believe the defendant gave flight. Search incident to arrest revealed that he also had a large bag of marijuana. He currently has an $1,800 surety bond. That's $600 surety on each count. The state is asking that that bond is remain as set. Stay away from the instant location, which is the Dollar General located at 8725 Roswell Road. And no weapons, drugs, or alcohol.
All right, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 29 years old. He was born in Illinois. However, he moved about 15 years, and now he is very connected to community here in Georgia, Your Honor. He has 4 children, 8, 6, 2, and 8-month-old. And Your Honor, 8-month-old is extremely sick, and he's actually having very hard time breathing. So he has been taking care of the baby a long time. So he's not able to make any kind of bond. He wasn't able to work. And even though he was working as a barber here and there, while he was taking care of his baby, he was not able to make enough money. So he's qualified for public defender services. He graduated from high school, and he's been working as a barber for the last 10 plus years. And Your Honor, we would like to request for a signature on bond for these 3 charges. Since he's not going anywhere, he has a bigger fish to fry with a felony charge that has no bond. So he will be still here in Fulton County Jail, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. And is that correct? He has no bond on another set of charges?
On at least one set of charges, there's a no bond. He also has other felony charges that he's being held on surety bonds.
Okay, defendant's gonna receive $1,500 signature bond through the jail, 500 on each count. He's to stay away from that location and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Your
Anything
Honor,
further?
I would just ask that you reconsider, because if he's being held on no bond, he's likely going to be reset for SAP. Not saying he will take a plea, but if you give him a signature bond, he's not going to get any credit for the days that he served, and he's probably going to be here for some time because he has multiple.
He will not get any credit if I give
Now,
him
if you give him a
the
signature bond,
Oh,
he'll get
that's
a day.
true. That's true. And if he's being held on no bond. Okay, so in light of that, I was gonna have these charges not be a thing. Then he's gonna come up on SAP in October. I would, Ms. Kim, like him to get some credit for the time served on these charges. So it'll be a $500 surety bond on each count. And with the condition that he stay away from that location on 8725 Roswell Road. And I hope the state and defense will work towards a resolution at the SAP calendar.
We could take it today.
I'm sure we could, but that's not what we're gonna do. All right, Ms. Kim, anything further? I did hear from Mr. Walker, so I will allow you to speak.
Your Honor, I still want to argue for signature on bond, because just in case, I don't want him to have a plea, which means he has to accept that he was guilty of these charges. And I don't want him to have 3 convictions added to his long history. So
What I'll do is that he will still be eligible at SAP for a signature bond if we're not able to resolve it in a way that makes sense at that time. So we'll let the 1,500 surety stand. And we will revisit it then. And perhaps if I'm sitting there, you can make that same argument to me regarding SOB at that time. It probably will be me. I think I'm on that day.
Okay.
All right.
Judge,
Take care.
I'm sorry, Judge, I have a quick question because I don't have a calendar for him. So which charges is it so I can place it on his 3
It's
cards?
theft by shoplifting of 500, surety, willful obstruction 500, and possession 500.
Your Honor, most of marijuana position gets NOD, and I really don't think he should get a surety bond for that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just for the record.
Bond on the weed.
Thanks.
Yeah, I agree. All right, a $1,500 split bond, 500. The possession will be a SOB through the jail.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Best of luck to all parties. I believe we concluded the calendar. Thank you all for your efforts today. Do we have any questions about the bond we just set, or the bond on the position 1 with interpretation? Ms. Bridgewater has already reviewed the calendar.
No, but I did send in the NOD for Mr. Menifee. I see him sitting back there. So I know Ms. Abden asked about that.
Thank you. I received it and tried to call the parents. They didn't answer. So if they're on the line, that case.
They're not. Oh yeah, they are. All right. Best of luck to everyone. Take care. Have a great afternoon. Miss Bridgewater, I await the orders.
I'm
Bye-bye.
gonna run and send it to you, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Goodbye,
Take care.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.